Hey wrestling fans, it's Ben here at Wrestling Republic, and today we're going to be going through WWE wrestlers and saying whether they should stay or they should leave the company. And I'm joined here with Archie. How are you, Archie?
I'm doing very well, thanks, Ben. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. It's a bit of a change for me for Wrestling Republic, so yeah, let's get into it.
And unlike Chelsea tonight, when you play in the Club World Cup, you'll actually be doing something important today.
All right, here we go. Yeah, I had to bring that up, but I mean, at least we actually qualified for it. That's the only thing I can say about that. So
I'd honestly prefer our players just got some time off, like what's happening at Arsenal. But without further ado, let's get into it. And first off, I'll start by asking you some wrestlers, and let's kick things off with Shinsuke Nakamura.
Here's the thing: I think on screen he's not doing too much. He could probably do quite a lot, probably outside of WWE. He might have more options backstage in WWE, but honestly, I think as a fan, I'd much rather Shinsuke leaves. And kind of maybe try and regain some of that aura that he had in Japan.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with you on that one because Shinsuke Nakamura, he is somebody who's, well, he's just done nothing since he's left NXT, really. He had a WrestleMania match, he won the Royal Rumble, but all of those, like, nobody cared about when they were going. It was crazy. And it shouldn't have been what it could have been, and that is annoying. But up next, I'm going to ask you about his partner in crime from New Japan Pro Wrestling, AJ Styles.
I might get a bit of hate for this one, but I think because of the mindset AJ's got in about wrestling right now, I think WWE is a better fit for him, especially another guy that's probably coming up to the end of his career now. But I think WWE, a lot of matches will probably be a lot more interesting in AEW for AJ Styles, but in WWE, I think that's where he'd be happiest, and I think that's where maybe he might get the best swan song in his career, I think.
Really? You think he'd get a better swan song in WWE over AEW?
I think he would. I think AJ's somebody that deserves to finish his career on the grandest stage at WrestleMania, in my opinion. I mean, obviously you've got the Ospreay dream match. You got, a match with Kenny that he can have in AEW. Hangman. There's plenty of options in AEW, but I think AJ right now, you also have to think about he's getting a bit older. Can he kind of go to the level that he used to be able to?
A fair point. Up next, I have Bayley.
Bayley, I think she should leave. I mean,
wow.
I think, to be honest, there's not really too much that she can achieve now in WWE. She's won the Royal Rumble, won Money in the Bank. She's won practically every women's title other than the mid-card titles, obviously.
Yeah.
And I think somewhere like AEW could really use her. And I think maybe a short run with Mercedes Moné as a tag team, or a short rivalry, one more rivalry with Mercedes Moné, that could be really interesting. And a way to kind of rejuvenate her career in a way, because it has been stagnating slightly.
Yeah. It has been, and like you said, her and Monet potentially the first AEW Women's Tag Team Champions, if that happens. That could be exciting. Up next, we have somebody who just returned to WWE, but he's not done much. Andrade,
I feel like I know a lot of fans, a lot of people at Wrestling Public here as well are kind of saying, why did Andrade go back? Or maybe that he hasn't been used to his fullest potential. I still feel like we kind of got to give it a bit of time. As I said before, you have their priorities right now. But any kind of, as we've seen in the past year, WWE have not hesitated to kind of pivot, sorry, Triple H, to other...
He's going to be giving you a ring. You're not allowed to use that word. He's established that.
Yeah, well, luckily we're not. Luckily, he's probably asleep right now or something like that. But I think
he never sleeps.
I think Andrade, he's. I can't really see him doing much elsewhere, and I think he's probably better off waiting and buying his time in WWE until that opportunity does arise for him, because it will do. It's just about when it actually happens.
I don't think it will.
I
don't think there's a single American company can go to at this moment in time, unfortunately, where the opportunity is going to be there for him, to be brutally honest, unless he went to a TNA.
If he wasn't such a big Triple H guy in NXT, I wouldn't say that. Like, if we're talking about someone like Austin Theory, right? That's maybe there might not be an opportunity for him that comes up. But Andrade is someone that Triple H genuinely was a massive fan of in NXT, as well as Aleister Black. So I still feel like that Triple H has got plans for him in mind, or at least I hope so anyway. So yeah.
Well, you mentioned Triple H guys. I'm actually going to mention the person who Triple H called the first Triple H guy, and that is Apollo Crews, who, I mean, he's just vanished off the face of the earth since Triple H got the pen.
Apollo Crews is a really interesting one. I feel like he's had so much untapped potential. He's not been given the best tools to work with in WWE. Same with Baron Corbin or Bishop Dyer. So for me, I think maybe leaving WWE and rebuilding himself on the indie scene might be the way to go. Or even in TNA. I mean, I feel like Apollo Crews is someone I genuinely felt like could be world champion material if they actually pushed him to that lengths. But I don't know about that now. But if he went to somewhere like TNA, I feel like Apollo Crews, that could be a really exciting next step for him in his career, and he could be a good world champion there, I think.
I do agree with that as well. Up next, let's talk about somebody who we thought was going to be a future world champion. We thought was going to be the next big thing, but it just hasn't really gone that way. Pete Dunne.
Pete Dunne. The thing is, Pete Dunne's still very, very young, right? Same with Tyler
He's
Bate.
not getting any younger. He wasted like 5 years of his career. He's become a dad now. He started as a teenager and he's now a dad.
The thing is with Pete Dunne is another one like Andrade. I think actually more so than Andrade, there is an opportunity waiting for him to come and take. I feel like when Tyler Bate got injured, they kind of dropped the ball a bit with his booking. I feel like that could have been the right time to push him a bit further than they should have done. But Pete Dunne, I think he should stay in WWE. I think because of how young he is, and obviously you are right in a way that there are going to be wrestlers that are going to be moving on, and there's going to be roles in the mid-card scene that are going to open up. I feel like Pete Dunne could be a great player in the mid-card scene, and I feel like there is an opportunity for him in WWE, and it's coming. You just need to be patient. That's the thing with WWE. You need to be patient a lot of the time, and it's a bit frustrating at times, but with Pete Dunne, I feel like being patient is the key here.
I'm just trying to reach to grab that imaginary brass ring. Doesn't exist. Up next, another person who I think has been underutilized massively, Dragon Lee.
This is another tough one because Dragon Lee is somebody that he has so much untapped potential in WWE, and I feel like they can push him at any moment, and it would work because he's just that good, because he's that exciting in the ring. The fans have taken to him quite well. It's just he's not been consistently on TV. If I was Dragon Lee, I'd stay because I think, as I said before, there are going to be options opening up in the mid-card division, but we're running out of time here with Dragon Lee a bit, and we need to kind of pick up the momentum a bit and start that push for him, I think.
Yeah, I do agree on that one. But up next, let's talk about the man who is coming to the end of his career now, but should he finish up elsewhere, Finn Balor.
So this is an interesting one. Obviously, he's re-signed with WWE not too long ago, which I was very surprised at, because since Triple H has kind of taken over, I did expect Finn Balor to get a bigger push, but it's just been kind of pin Balor recently. And I feel like well, it has, and I feel like if he did go to somewhere like AEW, it would kind of rejuvenate his career. It would kind of help him regain that lost aura. I'm still a big Finn Balor guy. I still believe in Finn Balor, even though a lot of people are saying he's washed and all of that kind of stuff. He's really not. He just needs to bring the tights back. Just get rid of the
the tights.
Not the tights, the trunks. Sorry, the trunks, not the tights. And get rid of the sock that he wears over his head every entrance he has.
And in his back pocket too. I don't know what that's meant to be, but it's doing you no favors. Up next, let's talk about a guy who I know you're a huge fan of, Logan Paul.
It's no secret that I'm a bit tired of Logan Paul in WWE now. I understand.
Really?
I understand why just thought that was sarcasm. I understand that Logan Paul he's a big draw for WWE in terms of media, social media views. As a fan, I want him to leave. I don't really care what he does if he leaves. I just kind of want him to leave so WWE doesn't have to keep pushing him in positions where someone like Austin Theory or Carmelo Hayes should be in, I think.
Yeah, I do completely agree with you there. Last but certainly not least, it's not a wrestler, but instead a commentator, Corey Graves.
Corey Graves, if you asked me this a few months ago, a couple months ago, I would say he needs to leave and go to somewhere like AEW as a bit of a slap in the face to WWE at the same time. But the thing is, I'm obviously as the NXT reviewer at Wrestling Republic, he has really come into his own on NXT. A three-man commentary table doesn't always work, but with Vic, Booker, and Corey, it does work. I thought he was fantastic on Worlds Collide as well. So right now, I feel like he is in a good position in WWE. Yes, he deserves to be in a higher place commentary-wise. But I feel like staying in WWE is the right decision because I feel like there are exciting things on the horizon for Corey Graves.
Fair enough. Right, my turn now. Ask me some names.
Okay, so the first one is it's very recent and it's probably something to do with the recent reports and everything like that. But Karrion Kross.
If he was to leave, I don't think there'd be an opportunity for him in an AEW. I think there would be in
No.
TNA, and I think he could be a star in TNA. But I think, especially considering he's towards the end of his career and he hasn't had a super long career, I just say get that back, stay in WWE, and just hope an opportunity comes along.
Here's the thing. It's probably going to be a hot take. I don't actually know why so many people are calling for Karrion Kross to be pushed over someone like Carmelo Hayes or an Austin Theory.
I know.
I
don't get it.
I'm not going to go on the age thing like you a bit, but look, I like Karrion Kross, but when I see people say he's world champion material, I don't see that personally, and I don't feel like there's too
I
much
agree.
future. Anyway, next one is what you said before. One I don't really like, Logan Paul.
In the words of Claude, he's got to go! Get rid of this man. I don't want to see him on my TV screen. He's overrated. He botches tons of moves, and he's just not really a great guy.
Well done. Yeah, nothing more to say about that. Next one, the next one is someone that has been making waves outside of WWE, even though she's still in WWE, Natalya.
Ooh, right. I think she should stay, but do exactly what she is doing, where she's able to still go to these promotions and help people out. But I do think she's somebody who can be a WWE Performance Center coach for the next decade, 2 decades too. So I do whatever I could if I was WWE to keep her involved in the product while letting her explore some opportunities outside of the company.
But here's the thing. I love the Natty character, but I hate that WWE just don't mention it whatsoever on TV. It just seems like such a missed opportunity for me. But yeah, I mean, anyway, the next one, Kairi Sane.
If I was her, I'd say stay for the time being. And if in 6 months she's still stuck in this position, then maybe explore other opportunities. She would be a big deal in All Elite Wrestling. I have no doubt about that. But I just say just wait a little while, see what's going on, because she's only just returned from injury too.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, the fact is she is getting TV time and she is getting pushed to a decent level. I mean, she did just beat Liv Morgan a couple of weeks ago.
That's true.
So I mean, she's not in the worst position right now, but she does deserve to be in a higher position, I think. I've gone for a couple of NXT ones now. Obviously, I can't not go for any NXT ones. First one's Andre Chase.
Here's the thing with him. What is he going to do anywhere else? Like, I don't think I think TNA would hire him, but I think he'd be in the exact same position that he's in NXT. I think if I was him, I'd just try and get that paycheck for as long as he can. He's helping out wrestlers. He's entertaining on the screen. But I think that's I don't want to say that's his ceiling, but I think that might be his ceiling.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think the whole Chase U thing is probably one of the worst mistakes that HBK has made as an NXT booker is kind of just disbanding that for no apparent reason. I do feel like that actually had a lot of potential on the main roster, especially when people like Jey Uso are popular. So yeah, I'm not saying like it's, but it is a bit. Just bring Jey Uso over to Chase U.
He's
Even though he's
just
like
eating
40
in
odd years
class all
old.
day. Just lives in detention.
Jay, I mean, off topic, Jey Uso would be probably. I would absolutely hate Jey Uso if he was a classmate of mine. He'd be so annoying.
I don't think I could hang out with Jey Uso. I just don't. And I like him as a wrestler. I just don't.
Next one is somebody that's got a pretty interesting beard grooming routine. Lexus King.
I thought this man had so much potential when he's debuted in All Elite Wrestling. I mean, I don't know what he's doing. I think he is young, right? So I think there's potential he can find his feet a little bit in NXT. I wouldn't leave because I don't know what else there is for him. I'd say stay in NXT for the time being and try and find your feet a little bit. But I mean, it doesn't look great for him as we speak.
That's fair enough. I mean, the next one I've gone for is this one's for Geordie. So shout out Geordie. It's Zelina Vega.
Oh, I mean, she has been booked really badly during this US title reign. Really, really badly. But once again, I look at it. What else is there for her outside the company? I don't think All Elite Wrestling would hire her. I really don't. I think the women's division is that stacked. I don't think they'd go out their way to actually try and even sign her. Now, maybe Ring of Honor. I don't know about that, but perhaps I definitely think TNA or an NWA would offer her something for sure. But I do think, I mean, look, she's a champion on the main roster. I don't think any other company is giving her that at that level. So I'd say stay.
Yeah, I probably agree with that. I mean, I would like her to maybe have a similar deal to Natty, where she can kind of go outside of WWE and
Yeah.
work some promotions, maybe Marigold or Triple R.
Oh, yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah.
But and I feel like she does need that kind of in-ring, a bit more experience in-ring wise as well, as you've seen from this run.
I do agree.
The next one is somebody that in NXT was a massive star. In main roster, he's really not got to that level. And it has been because of booking. It's not been because of his fault, I don't think. Carmelo Hayes.
Oh, this is an interesting one because I mean, we mentioned earlier that imaginary brass ring, but I do think with him, it might not be imaginary. I do think it is there, and I think maybe he's just a couple of steps below it. But I mean, like I have to ask myself, do I think if he went to AEW, he'd be a big enough star to be like, oh, we should leave to go there? Do I think he's going to do like a Swerve Strickland where he goes there and becomes a main event star? I think he could. And I definitely think if he went to any other company, he'd be a top star. But the fact is, where he's at right now in WWE, I don't think leaving would help him in any capacity.
Yes, it's another stay.
Yeah, it's another stay.
But no, I do agree with that because I feel like I get a lot of the complaints about Carmelo Hayes' booking, but he is not far away from that, from being pushed to where he should be. Again, he just needs to be patient. I know I said I'm patient a lot, but I do feel like he needs to be patient as well as his fans. The next one, probably a hot take, but the funniest guy on the WWE roster, I'd say, Solo Sikoa.
I mean, you just said it. The funniest guy on the WWE roster right now. Big things are coming for this guy, right? I mean, he is getting over. So, I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm going to run it back again. Stay. He has to. Big things are coming. That ring, he's almost there. He's almost grabbing it. He is getting over with the fans. And yeah, I think he'll be fine.
I think he'll be fine in the sense that he'll always have TV time and he'll always have a place on the roster. I don't think he'll ever get close to the main event scene in WWE.
I disagree. I think he's a
Really?
future WWE champion.
No, you're
He's got
Solo
like 10,
Sikoa.
15 years. And as I always say, in like 6, 7 years, 80% of the roster's gone. So they're going to have other stars, but they are going to need people like Solo Sikoa to have short reigns. I don't think he's main eventing a WrestleMania, but I think we're going to get like a solo SummerSlam or something where the fans are behind him and he wins a world title. Yeah.
I could potentially see
Solo
that because
Summer.
I could potentially see that because I did see a lot of fans say, "Oh, Jacob didn't turn face; he just turned heel." When he turned on Solo, because I mean, Solo in that Money in the Bank match was absolutely hilarious.
Gold.
But I personally
MVP.
I don't think he's going to be going further than upper mid card at this point. I think he's going to be mid card. I think he'll have a great mid card title reign. I just don't think he'll be in that main event scene. But anyway, the last one, I think you might be breaking your streak for this one, Alba Fire.
Oh. Yeah, she has to go. She has to leave. She has to jump out of that window and land herself in the upper card, the main event scene of a TNA, because she is the longest reigning NXT UK women's champion. She's ridiculously talented. I watched her on the UK independent scene, and genuinely, for her to just be a lackey of Chelsea Green, I just don't think it's fair. I think she deserves a lot better. And this past week on SmackDown, we saw she was trying to get crowd reaction. She was trying to do taunts to get the crowd going. They were dead silent, absolute dead silent. So compared to a Pippa Niven, who I do think is getting over a little bit in this gimmick, I think Alba Fire has to go and has to find her feet elsewhere.
I've got to be honest. I think you said TNA. I could see her being a massive hit in AEW if she was to leave.
Really?
Yeah, I think Kaylee Ray in AEW. I think she could honestly take the place of a Blake Monroe who's just left, obviously. And I feel like she could fit that quite well. I don't think there's actually too many wrestlers that kind of have her aura in the women's wrestling in the women's division in AEW personally. So I think she could genuinely become a world champion in AEW if she left.
I actually think you're right there. I think I'd personally prefer to see TNA just because I think that she'd be able to establish her as a main event out of the gates. But in All Elite Wrestling, I do think there is a chance she could become that level. And obviously, if that happens, that would be brilliant for her, especially if Britt Baker ends up leaving too.
Yeah, she was. I mean, her and Dakota Kai kind of replacing Britt Baker and Blake Monroe. That would be two brilliant replacements. I think you do need to build her up, but once you build her up,
borderline upgrades.
Yeah, potentially. Well, I don't know about the Blake Monroe and Dakota Kai, but for Britt Baker and
I don't
Kaylee
know.
Ray,
Oh no way, no Dakota Kai is right this minute for AEW. I think better than Blake Monroe would be.
For Blake Monroe for WWE or for AEW?
No, for AEW. Just with the style I'm talking about right this minute. I mean, don't get me wrong. Mariah May is 10 years younger. She's a better investment. But right this minute, I believe that Dakota Kai would be having better matches.
I'd agree with that. I think even though she did kind of lose her step a bit after her injury, she has regained it a bit. But I think Kaylee Ray would have a lot more success in AEW. I feel like she could have a reign like she had with the NXT Women's UK Championship in AEW personally.
I don't think she's lost her step at all since injury. I think it's just, again, the fact of she's trying to reach that brass ring. And the fact is, there's no next step on the ladder. She's there. There's no more steps. Triple H has unscrewed them. He's taken them off. He's taken the metal off. And she's just there trying to make the next step, and it's non-existent.
I guess.
But I believe that brings us to the end of the video, doesn't it? Thank you so much for joining me, Archie, and thank you everybody for watching. If you did enjoy, please hit the like button and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video here at Wrestling Republic. Thank you, guys. Peace.